Welcome to Chefs in the City. I'm Ann Fisher, along with my co-hosts, Steve Stover and Rich Terapak. The School of Hospitality Management and Culinary Arts at Columbus State is about more than training students for careers in the culinary and hospitality management arts. Mitchell Hall, named for a chief benefactor and well-known restaurateur, Cameron Mitchell, also is home to a restaurant and a bakery, both open to the public. Joining us today is the Senior Director and Chairperson of the school, Chef Joshua Wickham. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, all of you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of my favorite things about the school is the fact that you have classes for everyday people. You don't have to be a student there per se.
Right.
Community classes, and then you have the restaurant degrees and the bakery blend.
Right.
Yeah, yep. And they are kind of the cornerstone of our experiential learning programs. So both of those outlets have a professional supervisory staff. So we have an executive chef, and we have a cafe manager, lead baker, sous chef. And then our faculty collaborate with them and bring the students in there on a daily basis. Every meal period is staffed by students. And we are able to deliver those, that real world, real restaurant, looking your customer, seeing the whites of their eyes. So they really get to experience it. And they get to do both sides too. So
The front of the house and the kitchen.
Yep, front of house
That's
and
what
back
I
of
thought
house.
They can
really
appreciate
cool.
those
Yeah.
roles
Yes.
too, and it's important.
And like one of the first classes, and it's core curriculum, so all of our hospitality and nutrition degrees are required. They are required to spend 16 weeks in that restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And they do 2 days a week for 8 weeks in the back of house, while the other half of the class does the front of house. And then week 9, they switch. So week 9 is the week of enlightenment. That's really when all of a sudden everything kind of makes sense. People that were on the line for the last 8 weeks who intimately know the food have not felt the pressure of a diner looking at them.
Right.
And the opposite can be said of the people in the front of house. Like now they're friends with everybody on campus and they know everybody that comes to the restaurant. But now they get to see why it's so much pressure working behind that hotline. So it's really fun to see that happen. But it's also really fun to kind of be the beneficiary of that, to receive that care, but to be in there the first week of the semester and everybody's like shaking.
Yeah.
Versus
So time your visits, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Versus the last
If
few
you're into
weeks.
torture,
Right.
you
The
Is
last
this the third week? Or the...
Right, yeah. And with that being said, I would, for degrees, I would always recommend calling to make a reservation, just so that you can be sure that we are open.
So you're okay.
Yeah. So we're open Monday through Thursday. We do lunch from 11 to 2, and then we do dinner from 4 to 7:30, and that is to correspond with the classes.
Okay.
So, but we are open Monday through Thursday. We do buyouts occasionally, though, so it is a good idea to call and make a reservation.
Okay.
Versus blend.
Buyouts meaning someone's bought the whole
Exactly.
restaurant.
Yeah, and if you're interested in buying out the restaurant for a special event, we do that as well.
Or we're interested in happy hour.
Yes, exactly. So happy hour Monday through Thursday at 4 o'clock.
We think about the fact that it's a culinary program.
Yeah.
But it's much more. Can you tell us
Yeah,
about some
yeah,
of
it
the other,
is.
Yeah.
the other areas?
Yeah,
that are
absolutely. So
encompassed?
we actually have 2 culinary degrees. One of them is a chef apprenticeship. So that's where you're working for 2 years and you go to school 1 day a week.
Oh, okay.
And then we have an in-house culinary program, which is where the students get a lot of their experiential and their repetition in the restaurants or in restaurant adjacent classes. So we have classes where they just do production. They do production for grab and go. They do most of the butchery, the bulk butchery for the restaurants. So that's where those students can get that. I cleaned 75 chickens this semester, right? The repeat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we also have a restaurant management program. So that focuses on front of house, more finance, more human resources kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then we have our baking pastry arts program, which is also very, very strong
Grief.
right now. And those students work in the bakery and cafe blend.
Blend.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that are doing all the scratch baked goods every day. They start at 4:30 in the morning to get fired up to have all fresh and properly cooled baked goods for breakfast.
It's fun when you walk by there, they wave at you.
They do, yes, yes, absolutely. Well, we're always, we are hospitality, so
Yeah.
that is why we are
Right,
there.
yeah.
So we have our.
What are the
restaurant
hours for
management.
that? For
8 to 3.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday. We rarely close that place. We
Okay.
don't really do buyouts in blend.
Yeah.
So that's a great place to come in and grab, like I said, all fresh, scratch, fresh made baked goods. We have a pretty nice grab and go variety there.
And you can
then-
go out on the Boudreaux's patio.
Terrace.
Yeah,
the
yes,
terrace, yeah.
absolutely.
To
The
eat your
Boudreaux
goodies.
family patio. So yeah, and you know, all this is possible through support from partners like that. So I'm glad that you.
It's a beautiful place too, by the way. I mean, I think
Oh, it
Degrees
is.
is
It's
just
amazing
lovely.
how this
Lovely.
has evolved over the years. Now, Steve and I used to be cooking class teachers
Yeah.
in the basement of the old
Yeah.
Aquinas Hall.
Yeah.
And that's where the culinary program
Yeah, we went
lived.
from when we moved into Mitchell Hall in September of 19. So right before
We were
pandemic
there.
kicked off.
Lots of things happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went from 8,000 square feet that summer to 80,000 square feet
Tenfold.
that autumn. There's 1,000 pilot lights. There's over 1,000 pilot lights in Mitchell Hall.
Wow.
That's a good
So
statistic.
there are what's another fun one? We can simultaneously roast 324 14-pound turkeys. So we do that every year with Fry Out Cancer.
Okay.
We do 500 turkeys for them, and then we process all the ones that they fry. 620 birds in total. So like, and that's another thing that like these facilities have given us the opportunity is to really to buy into our community, to support initiatives that are going on in our community. We work with Franklin County Children's Services. We did a Fostering Futures program when we worked with Ohio Children's Alliance, Buckeye Ranch, where we had a small cohort come through and did a 16-week basics cooking course, ultimately resulting in job placement. So it's not
Ever
just our
growing.
culinary program. It's so much more
Well,
than that.
you've got a new emerging wine program.
Yeah, we're working on our mixology certificate, beverage studies. So we've been kind of talking
Send
to
me in,
Patrick.
Coach.
Yeah, right.
3 of us will sign
I
up.
was going to say, if anybody's looking for adjunct positions, there might be a possibility.
Well,
Um,
I have a little spare time.
If experience counts.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really vibrant space that allow us to engage with really every layer of our community.
Yeah.
Like not just our students, which are really our core. Without them, we would not be there. But we're a resource to the community. We're a resource to our college community. Blend and Degrees go a very long way in helping us foster community on our campus. A lot of meetings get done in there. A lot of friendly lunches get done in there. A lot of mentorship between students, faculty, students, and administration get done there. We host etiquette dinners are huge right now. I mean, we do like
Tell
10
me
a
about
year.
that.
be
What is
great.
the deal with the etiquette thing?
So, well, a lot of our students get called on to go to these fundraising dinners, to where you're in these bougie, event spaces with bougie people.
Yeah.
And it can be a lot of,
Intimidating.
it can be intimidating, a
Yeah.
lot of pressure. And if you-
I remain traumatized by
right.
growing up around my grandma. I mean,
We had fraternity house brothers. that
right?
taught us.
But when you
Yeah.
go to these dinners and you've got, fork, spoon, knife, fork, glassware all over, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they
If-
put some of this stuff
right.
away.
If you don't want wine, how do you navigate that?
Yeah.
So we have a couple professionals on campus that have really leaned into this and teach this. We write a complimentary menu. Students come in to a fully set table, and it is essentially step by step. What do you do when you arrive? How do you
And you
address
say
these
these are
questions?
popular now.
They are, yeah. We work with especially a lot of our donor-funded student groups, right? So groups that are very Weiler scholars would be
Oh,
an
okay.
example of that.
Bob Weiler of
Bob-
Bob Weiler,
Yep.
yeah.
And again, they're
Bob and Skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
they're the students that get called to say, "Hey, come sit at this table and talk to the people that help support these programs."
Okay.
Right? And if you are so concerned about what fork you should use, or
Right.
Yeah.
it can.
Yeah.
You get kind of locked up.
Verklempt, yeah.
Exactly. So the students love doing it. It's a really nice opportunity for them to experience a full dining experience, to sit down, to be waited on, to have the complicated table setting, multiple courses. What do you do if you come in and sit down and your salad's preset and there's preset desserts in the middle.
Eat dessert first.
Do you? Do you? Is that okay? But you know what I mean? So that's, some of them
I knew
might.
the answer right
Yes.
away.
Some of them might. But to have
He needs a class.
a little protocol behind that to kind of learn how to do
To be
that.
confident, a confidence
Exactly.
builder. Yeah.
Exactly. So
There's so much
we do.
there.
I like to think I know the rules so I can break the rules.
Right.
But
Yes.
Well,
And that's okay. Yeah, you've earned that, right?
Let
That's
it not
cool.
be said though that this program is a huge resource for the community.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's
I've been to
helped
cooking
to
classes
take
there.
Columbus, the facilities and the programs and the depth of the programs has taken Columbus to a whole new level.
Whole new level.
On the national level.
Yes. So
And we've got to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
well, and I can speak to that in the week right before spring break. So March 6th and 7th, we are hosting the American Culinary Federation Northeast Region qualifier for all of the national competitors. So on that Friday, we will host 4 ACF student teams from various colleges in our Northeast region. We have 6 competitors for Pastry Chef of the Year. We have 4 competitors for Student Pastry Chef of the Year, 7 competitors for Chef of the Year, and 4 more competitors for Student Chef of the Year. And then the winners of each of those categories will then represent the Northeast region in
Whoa.
Las Vegas in national
Oh,
convention.
okay.
So to have the facilities to be able
Exactly.
to bring these in is
yeah.
huge. And then we will also be hosting the ACF the American Culinary Olympic team.
Is this where you can actually watch people cook?
Yeah, oh yeah, you can come in
Okay.
and watch that. I can send you details if you want to come in and peek.
Oh, boy,
'Cause
that
it's-
might
I
be
would.
and I mean, and this will
fun.
be
Please
be
do.
top level national
Oh, yeah.
competition. And then we are going to be hosting.
And we don't have
the
to fly to
American-
Lyon.
Yeah, right. Well, then we're going to be hosting the American Olympic team every weekend. Well, 3 weekends over the course of 3 months.
And they're the ones that go to Europe.
Yes,
and
they will
compete.
go to Europe and they will represent the United
Wow.
States and the
And
the
without
Olympic
this
culinary.
facility, we'd never.
Absolutely
That's right.
not. So, and then we will likely be hosting a fundraising dinner for them where they will be cooking.
Yeah.
So details will be coming around that.
Could you talk a little bit about the market for your graduates?
Yeah.
Do they get jobs? I mean, is this pretty much a
they do get jobs. I think that the industry needs to recognize and they need to be very transparent. And I don't think it's as much of an issue as it used to be when we lost all the for-profits. We had it was about 10 years ago, we lost almost all the for-profit culinary schools because they were very quick to finance and not really transparent. Yeah, we have 100% job placement. But what kind of job do you need to pay off $90,000 in debt?
right?
Right.
Yes.
As much as law school.
$17 an hour is probably not going to do
Right,
it.
right.
So we do try to be
There's a
very,
disconnect there,
very
yeah.
realistic. And like when you say I want to be an executive chef, look at the market, right? We talk high-end country clubs, right, are really kind of going to be towards the top end of salary range
Yes.
for an
Yeah.
executive chef in Columbus.
Yeah.
We have 8?
Yeah, right.
Right? That's
Yeah.
8 executive chef jobs,
Yeah.
right? And then when you talk about your super large venues, we have even less of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really being transparent to say you will be qualified for a leadership role within the kitchen is different than saying you are going to be an executive chef when you graduate.
Yeah.
And leadership roles within kitchens can range from a station captain to say like, I am the leader of this pantry station. Right?
Yeah.
So learn to manage your station, right? Then you manage the kitchen.
Like you don't get the corner office right away.
Then you
Get it
manage
over
the
yourself.
establishment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
there
Yeah.
are, when I was an apprentice, my first year, our responsibility was the produce cooler, right?
Yeah.
And chef's philosophy was if you cannot manage a 6 by 8 foot box
Good one.
that does not talk back to you, right? That does not call in sick,
It doesn't go bad.
you're gonna have a hard time, right? So it was really that progression of learning to manage these little pieces in a very cumulative way. So we try to tell our students that, like, yeah, you will be qualified for a job when you graduate. You have a bit of ways to go before you are going to be running a kitchen on your And you know, $20, $22 an hour
Yeah.
is pretty
Yeah.
realistic to
Yeah.
think that that's
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you have training on front of the house kinds of things?
Oh,
in the
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So we don't lean as heavily into like, let's say the finance
No,
aspect
no,
or
okay.
the HR
Yeah.
kind of policy procedure type stuff, but they do get a
Good.
bit of exposure. Yeah.
Where do you eat?
Where do I eat? I have this philosophy that you either eat like down here, like you're in a parking lot, or like all the way up here.
So like Skyline? or...
Yeah, like I'm a big sucker for food trucks.
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel-
absolutely.
I am absolutely blessed that I think one of the finest, Mexican food trailers is parked at the top of my street in Clintonville. La Poblanita is
Oh, okay.
amazing. So that bright yellow truck.
It's a new age
Yeah.
for food trucks. There's no
You
question.
introduced us to Buckeye Pho.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Minga is my favorite Korean. Again, North End, we have got some of the finest Korean restaurants and options around.
Drive down Bethel Road.
Yeah, Chili Spot on
Kennedy
Kenny.
Center.
Oh, amazing.
I haven't been
That's
there.
like one of my favorite. Well, now we have a
Steve.
lunch
It
date.
used
you
to be
live
where one
Yeah,
of
their
my
cucumber
favorite
salad will like melt your face with its deliciousness.
Well,
Wow.
I could
good.
use a little.
It's so
I
good.
could use a little belt.
Yes, yes. Well, please let me take you there. They know my daughter and I. We walk in and they're like,
That's
Good
good. That's good to
guys.
be known.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes on this interview.
yeah,
You know,
right.
I'm curious before, because I think, we did talk to you during the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
back in the day when we were at WSU. But I'm wondering now, we've got it, 3 years, 4 years in
Yeah.
the rearview mirror. What changed? Did anything change about the about the program at Columbus State? Did it affect
It did for a while.
any of the lessons?
It did for a while. I think it affected everybody really,
Yeah.
but that whole class that went through,
Yeah.
it was a bubble. It really was. The experience was not the same.
Yeah.
As
Because
it
the
is
restaurant
now.
wasn't open.
Well, the restaurant wasn't open, and we had the distancing, and
Yeah.
we had we did all the weighing and measuring for them.
Oh, that's
that
right.
year.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Like they came into
You
fully
told me
set
about that,
kitchens.
yeah.
They didn't wash
Like
the
as if they
dishes.
were a
yeah,
public
The mise en
class
place
instead
was
of-
there.
yeah, the mise en place was there. The equipment was there. They didn't wash their dishes.
Well, that's not.
Well, and all of that teaches you logistics and how
Yeah.
to move in a kitchen and be, and
Yeah.
how to use less, right? Or be more strategic about what you're using and when. Order of operations.
Yeah. I mean, they would flunk Top Chef
It would be really
for
tough.
time management
Yeah, it
because
was-
how would you know?
It was hard. It was very hard.
My reference point.
We've left it behind us. I mean, we have
Okay,
we have
good.
moved on. Columbus State as an entity for admissions and for like our metrics on enrollment and stuff like that. Autumn 19 was kind of the watermark.
Yeah.
And we were going to keep talking about that until we went past that, until we eclipsed that, which we did in autumn this year. So we don't have to look at 2019 anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like there was first Wednesday, our big staff meeting, like it was like a round of applause that like we finally
Got back in there.
we are back. You know,
Yeah.
everyone talked about
What
that
is
again.
it? What is
How many students do you have?
So in hospitality, right around 400, and that's across all 5 of our majors.
Okay.
So, and it's, anywhere between 70 and 110 per major. Now the in-house culinary program has cannibalized the apprenticeship program a little bit. The apprenticeship program is hard. It's, you're working 40 hours a week. You go to school 1 day a week. It's very, very lockstep schedule.
Is that for people though that's more affordable? It's
not-
more realistic
It costs
for
the same.
Okay.
It's more accessible.
Okay, yeah.
And for a number of reasons. The apprenticeship program requires you to go back down to the bottom. I mean, you are year one apprentice.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're in a really nice place, they might use your name, which would be great. If they called you by your name instead of
Hey, you.
so whatever it is they chose to call you, your nickname's Bus Tub for the next year. Bus Tub looks tired. He needs more hours. Stuff like so. And it's not as hazy as it used to be. I like to think, but it is hard. You go back down to the bottom. You might get to have input on what you're doing. Probably not.
Yeah.
You really pay your dues. However, after 2 years of that, 4,000 hours of on-the-job training, you've been somebody's bottom line now for 2 years. So like you have you've learned
You've
something.
got experience.
Whether you wanted to or not,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you're still there, you're probably more employable, right?
Yeah.
Versus the in-house, which is it meets the needs of a lot more people because the work requirement is housed within your academic schedule. So it's very strategic, right? On when you know when you're going to be working because that's your class time. So I'm
Yeah.
going to be in the
Yeah.
restaurant Monday and Tuesday, 8 to 12:30, right?
Yeah.
And so then that way
Choice.
it's a little bit more predictable. But then also we've had wage cliff issues in the past, to
Wage
where
cliff, what
when
was
you qualify for certain benefits based on your income,
Oh,
and then all of a sudden you have to take a job that's going to pay you $18 an hour, that can have an effect on
yeah.
various types of assistance that you are receiving
Oh, yeah.
that may not make it worth it.
Got it.
So
Ah.
as opposed to someone saying, I want to be a chef in the apprenticeship program, and then they're all of a sudden met with this work requirement,
Yeah.
I'll just do restaurant management. Well, you didn't want to do that when you got here.
Yeah.
It's obvious that you don't want to do it now, right? So that's not the answer.
It's not the right.
It's
right,
not the
yeah.
answer. So by having the in-house culinary program and by setting up very specific sections and classes that allow for that repetition, you can still get a degree in that, right? And you can still come out familiar with how a restaurant works, really good knowledge of food preparation fundamentals, sanitation and safety, a little bit of HR, a little bit of finance.
Even.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How to run a business.
Yeah.
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 Who's your competitors within the state as a culinary school?
Within the state,
There isn't.
yeah, it would be tough because I mean, really, we're regional. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've got Midwest Culinary Institute in Cincinnati, and they're great. They're an awesome school. Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College has
Okay,
an awesome
yeah.
program.
Yeah.
They're really good. And then you have, I mean, we're kind of
3 C's.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a demand
Yeah.
for it.
Well,
and
we have great relationships between these
Good.
these
That's-
institutions. You know.
Yeah.
Do
Some
you
synergy.
send kids
Yeah.
to Cincinnati and Cleveland, or are they mostly Columbus and?
Most of we're limited in recruiting and how we can really recruit like on the books
okay.
based on our geographic area. I don't want to go too into that. I'm not a lawyer or it's not my wheelhouse.
yeah.
But we recruit very strongly in Central Ohio, surrounding areas, and then we have great relationships with the vocational schools,
Okay.
with the high schools that have culinary programs. Downtown High School has a great one.
Right.
So, and then we're really actively trying to engage these students their sophomore year, so that they can start planning that junior-senior schedule. Take advantage of college credit plus classes. Take advantage of
That's terrific.
articulation agreements that might be available. You know, Columbus Promise just got renewed to where all graduates of Columbus City Schools can go to Columbus State for free
Yeah.
and complete their
Such a
degree.
huge
And they get a
changer.
$500 a month stipend.
It's huge.
And they get wraparound services. So
Wow.
that's huge, right? So,
Yeah, it's really
but
great.
the sooner that we can get in front of them, so we create opportunities for those high schools to be at Columbus State, to dine with us, to come in and really see our programs, to take advantage of hands-on activities, to watch classes or to audit. We're hospitality, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than what we like. That is what we do. So
That's
no
right.
one is lost in our building for very
Yeah.
long. We do the lost person role play. Like, show me what a lost person looks like, right? And then they have to do it, and then you say, okay, now go find one for me, right? And it's that 5-10, right? You got with 10 feet of somebody, you have 5 seconds to set that tone. Can I help you find something?
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you? Right?
Wonderful,
Elevator talk.
Yep.
Engage. You're wearing a chef coat. You need to be engaging everyone in this building.
It's the Ritz Hotel system.
Yeah, that's it. Well, and you have to be able to talk to folks.
It would
Like,
be my pleasure.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Even our human nutrition students have to do the 1109 class. And some of them are apprehensive. Well, that's not what I want to do.
They've romanticized, though,
Yeah.
that petulant, antisocial chef thing in the movies a little bit,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like, really, I don't want to go
It's-
out and talk to them. Why?
No.
Why should I have to
It's
go?
only Rich.
It's only. But
well,
it's
like,
not,
and that's
it's
what
not.
that's what the club taught me. Like, that's accountability. You know what I mean? It's one thing to just send food out into the dining room and turn your back and be like,
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens. You're the one serving them.
Yeah.
Like, that is your face.
Yeah.
That's out there, right?
Yeah.
So, I've always like the hallmark of a great chef, and Dan kind of touched on it in our last episode, is that leadership and that management. Like, I don't want you to be, well, chef's not there tonight, I'm not going. Don't go on Tuesday. That's Josh's night off. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't want you to know whether I'm there or not. Like,
Yeah.
I had an amazing experience, and whether Josh was in the house shouldn't matter, because if I've trained my sous chef and if I've trained my line crew and everybody knows my vision, then
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Josh is there in
I think it's
spirit.
good to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
chefs on the floor once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's accountability. It makes you, when you finish that plate,
Yeah.
like, I have to go talk to these folks.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems to me it would be sort of fun. I
Yeah.
would think it'd be the part of the fun
If it's a
part.
good night.
If it's a good night.
If
if
it was a good
tasted
night, it's
good.
great. Out there, high fives and finger guns and all the things.
Danielle does that.
Some,
Yeah.
some
Hangs
chefs
out at the
like
bar
that
afterwards,
and some
yeah.
don't.
Well,
Yeah.
Josh Wickham, it has been great having you back.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks
This,
I hope you'll
this is
come
great.
again.
Yeah, fastest 30 minutes ever.
Yeah, it goes
I think
fast.
program's
but it's,
doing so well.
Yeah, and we've been
Yeah.
following,
Yeah.
this new iteration since
Yeah.
2019 now, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
glad and gratified that you're doing
deal.
so well. That is Josh Wickham. He is the senior director and chairperson of the School of Hospitality Management and Culinary Arts at Columbus State, and you can learn more about that when you check out wherever, when you check out us out on Facebook at Ann Fisher's Chefs in the City. Remember, it's Ann Fisher's Chefs in the City. It's a technical reference. I don't know why. Anyways, I want to thank you for joining us again. And thanks to everybody else for joining us for another episode of Chefs in the City. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on Facebook. And our email is chefsinthecity111@gmail.com. Remember, a great meal is best shared. So share this with your friends near and far. Next time we have plans, lots of plans. So just join us and see what's next. More chefs to come, right, guys?
So much fun,
Thanks,
yep.
Steve. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks,
And
Josh.
thanks, Josh.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me. This was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
And
Yeah.
thanks to you.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Boxland Media. Think big.